everyone, and welcome to Dallas Hoops Fancast, a podcast for Mavs fans. I'm your host, Sydney, and I'm here with my co-host, Martin.
Hey, guys.
Okay, in this episode, I wanted to do something really fun. At least I think it's going to be fun. I'm going to go through pre-draft scouting reports of Mavericks players, past and present, but I'm going to read them blind. Well, I mean, I'm going to see while I read them. But, okay, I'm going to read them. And I
have to guess who it is.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you who it is, and you have to guess which player it's about. Yeah. But first, the intro. What are you...
I'm going to read them blind. It was just pretty funny. Okay.
Blindness isn't funny, Martin.
Wow.
Okay. First, the intro. This is important. Remember, you can follow the show on Twitter at Dallas Hoopscast. You can follow me on Twitter at @Sydney Myers. Wherever you're listening, please leave a rating or review. That helps the show grow, like fertilizer and more steroids. But seriously, they're much appreciated. And honestly, thank you guys so much for listening. I know I say this every episode, but we really do appreciate it. It's just awesome to be able to interact with you guys on Twitter. You can also listen to the show on YouTube and leave your comments there. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of it. But let's get started. So this idea came to me while I was listening to the Low Post with Zach Lowe, which is a really good podcast if you're not listening to it. And he had on David Epstein, I think it's Epstein, who wrote this book called Range, and it's about things. But he cited...
It's about things.
It's about things, yeah. But he cited this really interesting study that I hope I tell correctly. Basically, they created two identical scouting reports. And the only thing they changed on the scouting report was the name, like the player name. And they gave those scouting reports to people. And they found that people's opinion of the person being described was totally different based on the name that was on it. So like, for example, if it had Zion Williamson, even if that scouting report was identical to some other no name, they would think more highly of that player based on the description. Anyway, it was totally interesting. So I thought it would be fun to read some scouting reports and based on that,
try to guess what player it is.
Yeah.
These are current Mavs players or all-time Mavs?
Former and present.
Okay.
And future. No. That's not possible.
Okay, no, it's not.
Okay, so I'm going to read them. You have to guess, and then I'm going to laugh at you.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. This first one actually is a suggestion from Twitter. I cannot remember who sent this in. I'm really sorry. I really should have that written down. But this is really interesting. So I'm going to read this. This is from an NBA scout. This is the report describing the player. He is the best small forward in the draft, and I feel with his ball handling ability, he could also play some guard. I feel he is around 6'5", has good speed, can work inside and out, and has all the equipment to be an immediate star. There's been some question regarding his attitude in college, but that's something the various clubs interested in him should check out themselves. There's no doubt he has the ability to be a great player.
This is can I get, if it's a current or a former player?
Yes. Okay. Yes. I'll give you up to 3 hints per player.
Okay. Is this a current Maverick or a former Maverick?
Okay. First of all, lose the tude. Okay. Second of all, it's a former player.
Okay.
So very much former.
So is it in the 2000s?
No. This isn't 21 questions.
Well, the Mavericks have had 200 players and 50 small forwards. Okay, so this is a guy no longer plays for the Mavs. 6'5", small forward, but could play a little bit of the point guard.
You're not going to guess it.
Was it a player in the 90s?
Barely. He's like an all-time great small forward for the Mavericks.
The only person I can think of would be Mark Aguirre.
Yeah, it's Mark Aguirre.
I don't like this game.
What? If you thought of it, why didn't you guess it?
Well, I only thought of it because you told me he was an all-time great small forward.
Oh, okay. Okay, but since we're talking about Mark Aguirre, interesting, this is a fun fact, okay, about Mark Aguirre. Did you know, Martin, Did you know the Mavericks had the number 1 pick in the 1981 draft?
Mm-hmm.
They were originally going to draft a point guard, but they already had a star guard in Rolando Blackman. So they instead signed Brad Davis as their point guard and drafted Mark Aguirre at small forward. The point guard they were going to draft ended up being picked second by the Detroit Pistons. It was Isaiah Thomas.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't go wrong with either one.
Yeah.
But Isaiah Thomas is a multiple time.
He's an all-time great. But at the
Yeah.
same time, if you just look at their numbers, Mark Aguirre had better seasons. But,
Well,
and Isaiah Thomas played with a lot of talent, too.
but Isaiah Thomas wasn't he was a scorer, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But he was also responsible for distributing and
Yeah.
getting everybody. He was a point guard. And Mark Aguirre was specifically going out there to score.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you could make the case for either one. I think most people would probably pick Isaiah Thomas.
I mean, I think
Looking back at their career
Yeah.
overall, they would probably be Isaiah Thomas.
But when you consider all of the factors, would Isaiah Thomas have done everything he did on the Mavericks?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I mean, things like winning a ring, all of that also depends on who you play with.
Well, the Mavericks were good at that time, though.
Yeah, I guess
Rolando
that's true.
Blackman was a 20-point scorer. I mean, they took the Lakers to 7 games. And if they didn't have Derek Harper, instead they had Isaiah Thomas,
Yeah.
they might have won that
I was
series.
going to say. Although, I mean, Isaiah Thomas had that colossal mistake against the Celtics and Larry Bird, so
Yeah.
it's not like he was infallible. Okay, next one. This one is really interesting.
Okay.
I'm just gonna read it. Okay, I'm gonna get to it. This is a scouting report from the Washington Post. He led the Pac-10 in scoring, assists, and steals last season and might be one of the draft's top defensive guards. Not only is he a tenacious defender, he is also a solid playmaker. He has smooth ball handling and passing skills, although he has a quick... Next sentence. Although he has a quick release on his jump shot, some question whether he can shoot consistently from NBA three-point range. This one is hilarious. It's like, so this guy has high praise for this player, but in the complete wrong direction. It's kind of funny whenever you hear who it is. I guess that
Is
was
it
a
a
hint.
current or a former?
Former.
Okay. And they questioned his shooting.
Yeah. I guess, okay, to make this easier, you can ask as many questions as you want, because otherwise, how would you guess?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you can ask as many questions as you want.
I'm going to guess Jason Terry.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
It was
because I
Jason
know
Terry.
Pac-10
Yeah.
shooter.
But it's so funny because
The shooting.
he called
yeah.
the top defensive guard a tenacious defender. It's like, what? And
Jet was not that.
Yeah, and then they questioned whether he could shoot consistently from three-point range. And it's like, that's literally the he was never known for his defense and always his
The
three-point
only thing
shooting.
I can think of with that is I believe Jet came off the bench at Arizona.
Oh, okay.
And probably the only way he got playing time is by his defense.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that. Don't sue me.
They're going to roast you on
Don't
Twitter.
roast me on Twitter. I believe Jason Terry was a 6th man in college. He came out as a freshman.
Well, anyway, regardless, it was just
Jet.
funny.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, next one. This is a scouting report from Draft Express.
Okay.
So that
Good one.
site is
Yes.
fairly recent. Okay. He is a volume scorer and will likely never be very efficient in this area considering his career percentages. His mechanics are not very good, making his shot highly inconsistent as he appears to release it in different fashion every time he shoots it. Their offense often had little rhythm to it with him at the helm. You rarely
Dennis Smith.
No.
Okay.
You rarely see a calm possession out of them with him in the game. He has a tendency to dribble and dribble and dribble the ball and then dribble some more, being extremely dominant offensively, needing the ball in his hands at all times. He clearly has very good passing skills and a terrific feel for the game, but at the same time needs the ball in his hands at all times and shows absolutely no conscience, jacking up dozens of shots a game. Here's what might give it away. There are a few backup point guards in the NBA today that possess the combination of passing, scoring, and feel for the game that he does. And it goes without saying that if he was 6'2", he'd easily be a top 10 pick in his draft.
I was thinking JJ.
Yeah.
Before you said that.
Yeah.
Before the size.
And it's fun. Or sorry, go ahead.
It's weird, the negatives on him.
Yeah. Well, and he's not wrong. Like Barea
sometimes can't dribble the air out of the ball. Yeah.
And we talk about that, how when he's on the court, he has the ball. He's controlling and running the offense. Everything runs through him.
But he's good at it.
Yeah, that's the thing, is he's so good. Or maybe just Carlisle has, maneuvered things so that it works really well for them. But yeah, it was funny to see it in a negative way. But then when you see him play, it's like, yeah, but he's so good at that. How do you
describe him?
Yeah. But I thought that was kind of funny. He tends. Where is it?
Well, we've always felt that if JJ were 6'3", he'd be a superstar point guard.
Well, he talks about his feel for the game.
Yeah.
And that's so true. And especially the past few years, we've said
the game
to each other,
down for him
he is
so
just
much.
in his prime. And the game is so slow to him, and his numbers are still like 11, 12 points a game.
Because he only plays 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, but when he is out there, he's unstoppable sometimes.
We saw a couple years ago when he had to play starting point guard minutes because of all the injuries the Mavs had. Dude was an all-star.
Yeah.
He was a NBA player of the week or whatever.
Or
month, I don't know, something. And you can see that if Barea's size, if he was bigger, then he would have been a top point guard in the league.
Yeah, and I want to say more of this scouting report also talked about his length. And that's another problem with him, is that not only is he short, like everything is proportional. Whereas in most NBA players are a little bit out of proportion. They have longer arms than most people, or longer legs or whatever. Whereas Barea, he's like a normal dude. Like he's short and he has short arms. And so it's like, if he just had a little more height or a little more length, then he would be like just
But despite
amazing.
Those things.
Yeah. Well, that's how good he is. Okay, next one. Oh, this one is hilarious. Okay, I'm going to read it. This is from NBADraft.net. Is it long? No, okay. Powerfully built combo guard with a polished offensive game. An instant offense type of player who is capable of big scoring outbursts. Has developed into a mature, polished guard with a good grasp of the game. Strong leader who has gained a lot of confidence in his game and plays with a swagger.
This better not be Dennis Smith.
No.
Okay, all right.
Shows diverse offensive skills with an excellent outside shot plus the ability to create off the dribble. Effectively creates offense for himself and others off the dribble. Has good form on his shot with a quick and compact release. Fundamentally sound player who does everything on balance and with a purpose. Handles the ball with ease and rarely makes unforced errors. Possesses excellent vision and passing ability, which is impressive considering his scoring
the greatest
prowess.
Player ever.
I know. So it's a former Mav.
Former Maverick. Yeah. What decade? 80s, 90s, or 2000s?
2000s.
Okay. I'm assuming based on how...
It's a combo guard, if that helps. But the description doesn't really help at all because...
Well, it made it seem like the greatest point guard to ever play, or the greatest combo guard to ever play. 2000s.
So obviously he played with Dirk.
Yeah. I mean, if it's not Steve Nash or Nick Van Exel, Devin Harris.
No.
Okay.
I'll tell you his career scoring average, all with the Mavs.
How many seasons with the Mavericks?
3.
Okay.
For his career, this player that I described averaged 3.1 points per game.
Is this Roddy B?
No.
Okay. I don't know.
But close.
Yeah.
In terms of years. You want me to just tell you?
Yes.
It's Dominique Jones.
Oh, my God. Dojo?
Yeah. When I read this, I was like, who? What?
Yeah.
Who are you watching? Like, what?
Yes, that dude was garbage.
I mean...
No offense, Dojo. Not that you're listening.
Yeah. But no, I mean, like... just reading it, mature.
I thought he was going to be the greatest point guard ever.
Yeah, mature, polished guard, good grasp of the game, strong leader. The way he describes it, he can score in pretty much any way he wants.
Shoot, that was his problem.
Yeah, Dominique Jones for his career. Now, granted, he He averaged 9 minutes per game in his career, but he shot 36%.
Well, the Mavericks gave him an opportunity. He had like one season where his finished
final
the season.
really.
And it didn't go well because he couldn't shoot, so defenses never guarded him out there.
Yeah. Well, and the description of like a good grasp of the game and all of that, he never really had that feel for the game.
No.
But I remember he was like a bulldog. He was so strong and his muscles were so big and he was so athletic.
All right.
You are too.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Anyways. But yeah, he had all the physical tools, but I don't really know. I mean, you barely saw him, so you never really knew like what happened mentally or if it just was skill or maybe he didn't practice. So anyways,
right,
okay. Next one. Oh, this is a good one. This is a shorter one. This is from an NBA scout.
Okay, before you read it, is it current or former Mav?
Former.
Okay, 80s, 90s, or 2000s?
2000s.
Okay, go ahead. And how many seasons?
I don't know, like a lot.
Okay, all right. Thanks.
Okay. He is extremely quick and possesses great athleticism. An underestimated shooter, he can nail the shot when needed. He is also an excellent defender, gets many steals and blocks many shots with his leaping ability. He is also a good rebounder, hitting double digits many times. People have often referred to him as a Scottie Pippen with a poorer jump shot.
Josh Howard.
No. But probably the next one you guess will be right.
Sean Marion?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I thought this scouting report was really dead on. Like an underestimated shooter, which is probably
especially
true.
because he shoots it from his chest.
Yeah. Not like his stomach or something. Yeah. It's like you would not expect him to be a good shooter, but also a really good defender, a good rebounder. So I thought...
Yeah. Sean Marion or Josh Howard, really, that would...
It's funny because, we were talking about scouting reports, like when they get it right, they really nail it. But when they get it wrong, like with Dominique Jones, they're just way off. There's no in between. It's so weird. Okay, next one. This I know I said
they're all good.
They're all good.
Yeah,
okay.
Hold on before you do it. Former Mav. 80s, 90s, 2000s.
Hold on, because he had a long career. So, 90s and 2000s.
Okay. All right.
Okay. This is from an NBA scout. Duh. Weaknesses. Shooting, plain and simple. He's not a good shooter. He's much better than he used to be, but he still needs to improve his outside shot off the dribble, and his free throws. Tends to make great moves to the hoop, but not finish them off. With his strength, he should be able to finish more. Not blinding quick, NBA point guards who might bother him. Must show he can run a half-court offense in the NBA. The team never did it well while he was there. I figured the first part would give it away.
The shooting part, I immediately thought of Jason Kidd.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that scout needs to get fired.
Well, I mean,
he's right on the shooting, but you should also bring out how
everything
he's revolutionary, so you can live with the fact that he can't shoot.
But they didn't know that he was gonna change.
He was a second pick.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
everybody was like, this guy's gonna be a great point guard.
But and it was funny because so the shooting, he needs to improve his outside shot, his shot off the dribble, and his free throws,
and his half court offense.
Yeah.
He was like one of the best in the half court. Like, I think because he was so good in the fast break, yeah.
In the open court.
Yeah, I knew that didn't sound right.
Yeah.
That it maybe limited what you thought how good he was in the half court, but he was a maestro no matter what.
Yeah, so reading about Jason Kidd, of course I automatically thought of Lonzo Ball.
Oh my God.
Just because
Why would you put their names
because so many people compared them. I mean, you think about it, it's kind of true. Like, Lonzo Ball is a terrible shooter, but in college, I mean, outside of that, he did really well. And I was just wondering, like, what happened with Lonzo Ball? What's the difference between him and what Kidd eventually came to be?
Well, one's not a doofus.
Okay. Let's not insult people's intelligence. Is Lonzo Ball the guy we're trashing in this episode? We always trash a different player.
I don't know if I want to reserve it yet for Lonzo. I want to see who else we talk about.
We'll save the trash talking
right
segment.
now it's Lonzo.
Okay. Let's just move on. Next one. Ooh, this is a good one. Okay.
Oh, wow. Really?
Okay. Okay. Former player, played in the 90s, early 2000s.
Okay.
He is a natural point guard who can distribute the ball effectively and hit the long-range jumper. He uses deceptive quickness and a superior understanding of the game to his advantage. Like all of the great point guards, he has an uncanny court vision and a sixth sense for the game. His biggest weakness is his man-to-man defense. His average foot speed makes him an easy target for small, quick point guards to blow by. His lack of physical strength does not bode well for handling the bigger, stronger point guards in the NBA in the post.
It sounds like in the post.
I
What
know.
an idiot. I mean, why does that matter? Like,
I mean, some
No
point
point
guards
no.
are big enough to back down.
yes, but
It's not
that's
what
not
you
a
do.
strength.
Yeah, it's like, oh no.
It sounds like they're describing Steve Nash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Steve Nash.
And they got it pretty on.
Yeah,
on
pretty
cue.
much.
Now you didn't talk about how great he was going to be offensively, and it didn't really matter on the defensive side. But they got that one right.
Yeah, I mean, natural point guard.
But he's going to get bothered in the post by these post up point guards.
Just don't post up, or I guess defensively. But you just have a bigger guard out there.
No point guard. Just I'm going to post up this play because I got Steve Nash, a 6'3" point guard on me.
Okay, next one. This one made me sad.
Is this a good one?
It's a good one.
Okay.
This made me sad. So this scout, the comp for this player was Rajon Rondo, former Mav, 2000s. Incredibly quick and athletic player, shows a fearless attitude and competitive nature. Extremely long wingspan gives him a huge advantage at both ends of the floor. Huge hands also give him great control of the ball. An excellent ball handler and passer, extremely confident, has a brashness and cockiness rarely found in European players.
It's got to be Roddy B.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I thought Roddy B from the beginning when you laughed about his attitude.
Well, just
It's got a
competitive nature
Yeah, it
and
don't sound like Roddy
brashness
B,
and
yeah.
cockiness. It's like,
I don't know. Maybe in Europe, but when he was here,
which is possible. I mean, a lot of players when they come to the NBA, they
get
lose all their
scared, yeah.
confidence. Yeah, I mean,
they get scared.
maybe that's what happened to
Well,
him.
when you see LeBron and Dwayne,
yeah.
LeBron, I'm not mentioning that other dude's name.
Well, and also, like you've said before, when you're told for so many years that you don't belong in the NBA or you're not going to be any good, like that gets to some players. Like you've talked about how Jimmer Fredette, they always said, well, he can't be that good because of reasons.
It's just a mindset. Like
it can get to you.
And the thing is, like, the 3-point shot is the same distance whether you're in China or in the United States. And in China, he knocks him down because he's confident.
Averages 40 points a game.
Because he's confident when he shoots it. But here, he's fearful. He's got that fear to him. So
I mean, I'm
it
sure
just doesn't go in as
NBA
much.
defenses are also
But he can shoot it
tougher.
from anywhere.
True.
So, and he, in college, he would just dribble down and pull up before the defense even had time to react. He did the same thing in the NBA. He just didn't make them as much because he didn't shoot with the same confidence.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I wonder if that happened with Roddy, like always being told European players can't make it, they're too soft. Did that get to him? Or was it just himself?
Yeah, I think
when he
it was
saw
just
the
a
big
lack
guys
of,
and
I just think he just didn't care as much about basketball as everybody else thought he did, apparently.
or wanted him to.
Yeah, I just don't think he cared enough about it.
Okay. This one is kind of long, but I'll read it.
I'll see if I can guess it without you giving me any clues if it's a long one.
This is from Draft Express. He is a nightmare in the open court, changing gears powerfully and being absolutely fearless, slashing right to the front of the rim, where he can finish emphatically above the rim or acrobatically off the glass. In the half court, he shows promise with his first step, array of fancy ball handling maneuvers, and an innate ability to operate at different speeds. With that said, he still has plenty of work to do to become a more mature, consistent floor general in terms of his mentality and decision making. He's not very vocal on the floor in terms of his on-court leadership, and the chemistry and body language he demonstrated with teammates left a lot to be desired, especially as the season moved on. He's still figuring out how to effectively blend his scoring and passing ability, as he can be a bit of a ball stopper.
I know I've said this person 13 times, but Dennis Smith.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I thought that this was...
It was a pretty good one.
There was another... So at the end of this, he said, Smith's ability to help an NBA team win games and the effect he might have on an organization's culture are issues that will continue to plague him until he can prove otherwise, and will likely drag his stock down a bit relative to some of his peers. And someone else said, there was another scouting report said the same thing about his attitude. He also said he has a tendency to rely on his physical gifts. And I thought that's
100% true. And we've even seen that like last year he tried to out jump Anthony Davis and got stuffed at the rim. And it's like, dude, you
let's
gotta
not even talk about that possession. But
well, that's not that possession.
Oh, you were talking something else. Yeah.
But it's you got to be smarter than that. You're not going to out jump these NBA guys every time.
Yeah, so this is so accurate because he has a lot of, I would say he has a lot of skill. I mean, he's not extremely skilled, but he does have skill, and he has talent, and he's extremely athletic.
Can't put it all together.
Yeah, but it's really just his understanding of the game, his decision making, his mentality, and then his attitude. I mean, it's not like I wouldn't say he has a bad attitude like a guy that's just a jerk, you hate being around him. But I think just his maturity level of dealing with things he doesn't like, or adversity, or, those kinds of situations.
The calling out sick and then showing up at a restaurant to eat. That's the kind of maturity level that you're talking about here.
So I thought that scouting report was so accurate. It's like he's got so much talent, but that attitude,
it's all in the mind. The mind just isn't there.
Yeah, and that affects him on the court and off the court. But like it says, if he can, get past that and mature a little bit, then he's got all it takes physically. If he can just kind of figure out the game and his decision making. But
a lot of that stuff is natural, though.
True. I mean, it's like Westbrook. Westbrook's been in the game for how long, and he still can't figure out.
It's a natural ability that you have.
Yeah. Okay. Next one. You're probably gonna guess this one.
All right. Don't give me any clues then.
Okay. No
Dirk.
clues. No. Okay. So I couldn't find one for Dirk because he's so old.
I found one for Mark Aguirre.
True, but I happened to find that
they played in the same era.
Yeah, on this website that had. Yeah, it was like the most random thing ever. But yeah, Dirk. They didn't have scouting reports that they published. Anyways, okay. This one. He can be considered marginally average. He can be considered a marginally average athlete by NBA standards.
Luka.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. The stupid idiot.
Let me read the whole thing. Is this from NBADraft.net?
Oh, okay.
Not overly long, more of an average actually. Not a very good leaper off 1 foot. His good jumps come off 2 feet, which is funny.
Which is not true, actually.
You see him dunk off 1 foot in the NBA.
Well, some of his best dunks last year were 1 foot dunks.
I don't know. Yeah. Can be really emotional at times and lose concentration for a few plays. He must improve in changing speeds and pace. His ball handling still needs some polishing.
Hold on. Must improve.
Yeah.
His speed and pace.
Change of speed and pace and ball handling. And I was
that's like his best.
But he cooked defenders.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, his ability to change directions and speed was his best asset.
Yeah.
So that's completely off.
The lack of explosiveness makes it really difficult for him to create his own shot against athletes with good wingspan.
Which is not true.
I mean, like, I would say I'll accept that the step back is kind of like a way to make up for that because you're creating that separation through stepping back.
Yeah, but he also got to the rim regularly. I mean,
that's true.
When you look at his highlights, he's got players falling on the ground.
Yeah.
True. Like, literally there's legs splitting apart when they're trying to guard him. So that, anyways, keep going.
It's a question mark whether he will be able to create consistently at the next level on ISO situations.
Wrong.
Yeah. Can fall in love with the pull-up game and settle too much against switches. That's true. I do think that's true. Like sometimes he pulled up for 3 when it was like, well, can you just try something else?
Yeah. It's hard for me to say anything negatively. So, let's keep going. Okay.
The fact that he can see angles that no one else can see leads to some extreme passes and as a consequence, some turnovers. And Carlisle talked about that, I don't know if it was Carlisle, but he tries to thread the needle so much because he can see the pass, but it's such a narrow window that sometimes it just doesn't go through.
Well, Carlisle once said that he tries to throw the ball through someone's face where it comes out his butt. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
And he was in the top 10 in turnovers, but I think that was kind of expected being a rookie and being a primary ball handler. I think if you looked at all rookies that were primary ball handlers, they were probably in the same category.
Yeah.
But he wasn't even as high as James Harden and Russell Westbrook. So anyways, keep going.
Okay. But overall, I thought it was a fairly decent scouting report. Aside from, I think people overestimated how much his athleticism or supposed lack thereof would bother him.
Well, I think the problem is they underestimate the athleticism of the EuroLeague.
True.
And so when they see a player running around and having trouble with those defenders, they think automatically he's not quick enough. But these guys are in professional leagues, so they're a lot quicker than they look. And so that's why he wasn't blowing past people in EuroLeague, because they have good defenders there too.
Yeah. And he's the MVP, so they're putting their best defender on him.
Team USA just got destroyed.
Yeah.
Well, not destroyed, but they got beaten back-to-back games by Euro teams. And those teams are supposedly so much less athletic.
Yeah.
So the athleticism thing is so overblown. I'm not even going to get started.
Okay.
It's dumb.
Next one. This one was good. This one was funny. Okay. Former Mav. All right. This is from thedraftreview.com. Solid athlete. Okay. I'm going to read. Solid athlete who runs the court well and is an above average leaper. Post footwork is superb for a player his age and could be the best in college among NBA center prospects.
Chris Kaman.
Yes. Hold on. My
mic went out.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, how many more of these we got?
This plus one more.
Okay.
Yeah, so let me finish reading it. First of all, solid athlete. I don't know. That must have changed at some point.
Okay, Luka is a below average. Yeah. Chris Kaman is a solid athlete. Come on, people. Like, what are we looking at?
Has a nice assortment of low post moves when his back is to the basket. That's true.
His biggest problem was he didn't work out.
Yeah. Or watch his diet.
Went out
or
hunting
practice.
And drinking beer.
Tough kid who enjoys physical contact in the lane. Extremely aggressive when it comes to getting position on the blocks. Decent shooter who uses his above average leaping ability and long arms. Yeah.
I mean, he did have long arms, but the above average leaping ability, what are we looking at?
I don't know. Not a bad post passer out to the perimeter, even when being consistently double teamed. Solid rebounder due to his level of athleticism and hustle. Chris Kaman must have been a different player in college. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
He was even good early in his career when he was still like 22 years old.
They didn't have anybody else.
Yeah, and he still had some athleticism because he, was still young, but he just didn't work out. I remember one time I saw him walking through the tunnel, and it was a view from behind, and his calves were they looked like my calves. It's like, have you done a heel up ever?
You have nice calves,
Okay,
Marty.
we're not going down that road.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was funny. I remember, so when the Mavs were doing their beard until they got back to 500, so he grew out his beard, you know, but when they all shaved theirs, he didn't shave his. And I think he was just used as an excuse to grow a beard and then just never shaved it. He was an interesting character. Yeah. He brought some entertainment to that season. Okay. This is the last one.
Alrighty.
All right. NBADraft.net.
No clues.
Oh, okay.
Former player.
No clues. Strengths. 7-footers with his athleticism come around every 10 to 20 years. Do you have a guess?
Tyson.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's basically that statement alone. Yeah. It pointed who
at. Okay, I'll read the rest of it. Has good desire and intelligence. Good shot blocker. Has good passing ability. Can shoot the ball well. Yeah, can shoot the ball well and runs the floor like a deer.
I mean, to be fair, the scouting is from high school, and I'm sure in high school he was dropping threes on people. Because
Well, okay, has a chance to be a special player in a few years. Weaknesses: strength, maturity. Will never have the strength of a Shaq or Eddie Curry, which is true, but that actually became his strength because those guys. That just went away.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because he could play a small ball.
Yeah. Initially, at just 225 pounds and an underdeveloped body, he will be forced to play away from the basket. wants to be like Kevin Garnett and play on the perimeter, but has very underdeveloped ball skills. Doesn't always display maximum effort.
Yeah, he got much stronger though. Like when you look at his rookie year.
Well, as a high schooler.
Yeah, he's a kid.
They're not very strong.
Yeah,
unless
he's
they're
still
on
a
roids.
child. Yeah, unless you're LeBron.
Was that a subtle shot? Anyways,
the dude was on roids.
He was not on roids.
He was a monster in high school.
That's just, that's
no high schooler looks like that.
Anyways, I did think it was interesting. Like, Tyson turned out to be a really great player, but he wasn't, like, people were comparing him to Kevin Garnett, and he never became that. And so
I think really the main comparison was because of height, and they both came out of high school.
Yeah.
But like
and body type.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. So,
but I mean, they're like Tyson's final season in high school, he averaged like 26 points and 15 rebounds or something.
And it was probably a bunch of putback dunks.
Yeah, maybe.
And I will say that on the defensive end of the court and rebounding, they are really similar. Like, Garnett can stay on the court. And he knew where to be position-wise. So it was just on the offensive end. But really, even Garnett, when he went to the Celtics, he wasn't that same offensive guy. Obviously, he was a lot more of an offensive threat than Tyson was.
Yeah. Tyson had an elbow jumper that
they didn't utilize because it wasn't very consistent.
It wasn't very consistent. I will say his first year here, it was fairly consistent. Like, they would run a play
once a game.
Yeah, where he got the elbow jumper. But his second year here, they would run it and it just wouldn't go in. And I don't know if maybe that one season was a fluke or the other season was a fluke. I don't know.
It's just a consistency.
Yeah, it just wasn't his thing.
Yeah.
So he probably didn't practice it a ton because he did everything else so well. So anyways, I think you did pretty well. I mean,
my favorite was the Dominique Jones.
Yeah, the Dominique Jones.
Like, I could have sworn that was going to be the greatest player to ever play the game.
Well, it's funny because I think, didn't the Mavs like trade up for Dominique Jones? Didn't they pay money to get him?
Yeah. I mean, that was during the time period where every draft there was a trade with the Mavs. Like, they never kept the pick that they had. Yeah. Like, trading back and passing up on Giannis.
Yeah. But yeah, that one was pretty fun. And it's like I said, it's like when they got it right, they really got it right. But when they got it wrong, they were just totally wrong. Yeah. And that's, when you read these scouting reports, this is why it's so hard to draft players, because you get these scouting reports like this, and I guess if you have good scouts for yourself, they can watch the player and be like, nah, he doesn't have that.
Each team has, I don't know how many scouts that they have, and they all have to be good or they're going to get fired.
Well, and it's just like any other job. Some of them are good and some of them aren't. And like, that's not a shot. It's just... It's
reality.
It's just like any other skill. Some of them are going to be good at it and some of them aren't. And if you have a team that has really good scouts or really detailed scouts, then they're going to find the good players compared to the teams that don't have that. But I think you did pretty good. I think you did good. So I'll give you 2 thumbs up for that. But that's all. So if you're watching this on YouTube or if you're listening to this, go send us a message on Twitter. Did you try to guess all of these? And then let us know how many of them you got wrong. Which one of these scouting reports was the craziest? Like, which one surprised you the most? Again, you can send us a message on Twitter at Dallas Hoopscast. Yeah, I'm doing it. You can follow me on Twitter at _Sydney Myers, or you can watch or listen to every episode on YouTube. Just search Dallas Hoops Fancast. Yeah. See, that wasn't too bad. Okay. But that's all for this episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you guys the next episode. Bye. I'm leaving it on until you say bye. It's just going to I'm just going to leave it on. Hey, Marty. What does,
Bye.
Your face.
You're not promised tomorrow in this little shop of horrors. You're not promised tomorrow in this little